Good evening and welcome to another episode of Nightfall in Genova. Because remember, the night might be dark, but so are the ages here. It's 12:45 in Genova, the Italian port city. And for those of you who were not able to catch our last session, a group of fairly young kindred, some from the city, some from outside, were able to accost and return an escaping Sumitsi fleshcrafter who had been a merchant item for the prince. Now, our prince of Genova is known for his uncanny mercantile skills. Had acquired this far-off demon worshipper sorcerer for unknown purposes. However, this individual escaped and even went so far as to attempt to use a mortal child as a hostage. The group was able to accost the escapee, convince him to return the child to his former form, return the child to his mother, and return the escapee to the prince, thus upholding the masquerade and earning some favor with the prince himself, who has thus invited him to join him at his residence this evening. So we'll rejoin our kindred on their second night as a group, as it were, within Genova. And once again, to wake up this evening, the simple cost of one blood, a commodity that gets ever scarcer as more kindred move into the city and more superstitious mortals learn to watch themselves. So as you wake up tonight down one blood, you have a bit of time before you gather at the prince's residence. Beyond a formal introduction, you're not quite sure what this meeting might entail, but the prince seemed amiable enough. So I don't personally recall either if the players gave one another a means of contact, if they planned to meet up before the meeting or just meet at the prince's residence.
I don't think anyone made any things, like any specific plans or anything.
No, I don't believe so.
I really don't think Kim's character wants to be at my character's place.
Brothel's a perfectly fine place for a child. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna kind of meet up at the prince's place.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have anything I want to do beforehand, so.
Right.
John, did we decide on what my herd was? It's totally slipping my mind. Customers, right?
Yeah, primarily would be your customer base, probably mostly regulars that have learned to come to you.
Okay.
For your craft.
Hmm. Can I feed?
Yes, and I don't recall if I shared my feeding rules to this group or not.
I remember you had feeding rules for.
Yeah, it would be the same mechanics. I will allow me to locate those,
Cool.
and I will. Your default would be wits and survival if you're just outright hunting.
For feeding for my herd, what would it be?
Your herd just adds a bonus die, 1 die um,
Okay.
per dot. And hey, I found my rules already. That never happens. Someone else must have organized my stuff because I certainly don't.
Wasn't me.
It's one of the cats. Dresden, maybe.
No, it probably was
Dresden.
me at some point, and I just forgot I did. And my headphones are about to crap out. Awesome. Grab the backup. Bear with me for a moment while I switch. All right. Feeding techniques were posted in the Facebook group.
That's not. That's not true.
I mean, they showed up to court, right? Are we still?
You guys hearing me? Because I am not hearing you.
We.
What? You can hear us?
Hello.
Oh. Oh.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh.
See this?
Who you?
What?
What?
I didn't hear what you said.
Me neither.
All right, you can still hear me?
Yes. Test.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is that Dick Stealth?
All right, sound test. 1, 2.
Help.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Help.
Are you guys still speaking?
Yes.
No.
All right, I see Kim telling me yes, she is.
Wait, I'm playing the wrong side. Trying to put it side chat. I don't think it's working though.
No, I think you were just poking at me.
Oh. Well, I can now hear the test sound,
Test.
Bloop?
but I'm assuming you guys are still speaking, and
Yeah.
I am still hearing nothing.
That's weird.
We are
Freaking
speaking.
test.
Quick, everyone beam your thoughts into his head.
Wee.
It didn't work.
Damn it.
No.
Almost gave myself a headache doing that.
Right, well, I will probably here drop and see if I can rejoin. If not, we'll have to start this whole shindig over.
Okay.
Thanks, Google.
Hmm.
Oh, indeed, it is there via chat. Just saw that.
Johnson.
Hey, I can hear you guys now.
Hooray.
Well, thank everyone for their patience while we fought with the great and powerful Google.
Cool.
And I saw some rolls from Josie. I'm assuming those are feeding.
Yeah, I should probably do that too.
Techniques are listed and posted to the
Right.
I thought
Facebook.
What is it for herd?
It's plus
You're,
plus your die.
So
yep,
plus whatever
you
my
add-
dot that is my die pool.
Right,
Sorry.
correct.
Yeah.
You also always have your option of default hunting, which is wits plus survival.
Well, right, but yeah, it's a lovely little
Recognizing
flower.
that
Not
for
really
some
much
people,
in.
as I
I should probably do that too. And I still get my herd dice if I do the wit survival.
yes. The idea being that it's a lot easier to stalk the people that you know.
Where are you saying?
I thought the prince had offered to feed him.
He did say there would be
Yeah.
dinner.
That's true. I did take, however, my lovely little flaw is going to take a little more time than I'm going. I should probably just do it beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably have character sheets open too.
What's the difficulty?
Typically, it's based on your area. So if you're going like through the kind of the slums and the ghettos of the town, the docks would be kind of that area. That's going to be a 6. You start getting into more of the business areas or the warehouses, that's going to be an 8.
So my brothel qualifies as a business or my own space because.
Within it, that would qualify as a 6 for you.
That's what I thought.
I'm not sure what mine qualify because I'm doing
If
it.
you are, if you're feeding on retainers, you don't need to roll. If you have regular employees. No, just bear in mind that if you feed on retainers frequently enough, they will not have enough blood to sustain you.
Right.
So, depending how many employees you have. Now, if you're feeding on patrons, then you kind of have to hunt through to be successful. But your employees are considered retainers and have probably been indoctrinated to some degree.
Right. Well, I mean, I did take a. I got a couple of
Now,
my
Tiger, I didn't
employees.
catch what your question was.
I'm not really sure what mine would qualify as because, like, my character would probably like do where his probably be at the church or whatever.
Church is going to kind of be in your residential, so it'd be a diff 7.
Okay, so I get.
Which I realized isn't on this chart. So I will have to update that.
So I get 2 back. It's pretty great. Cool with that.
And then each success is 1 blood point.
Yeah.
Up to your max.
This is
Powerful.
All right, so everyone having fed it to their desire, they'll head to their meeting point, I imagine.
Yay, barely.
So the prince has a fairly nice looking manor house. Actually has a surprising number of windows, given he's a vampire. Sitting kind of up on the hilltop, as you are probably aware, Genova is built on a series of hilltops, all of which kind of butt up to the coast. Part of what makes it a valuable port is its viewpoint from those hilltops. Given the placement, it's certainly not the ritziest. He's not on the highest hills, but he's far enough up where it's obviously the nicer, richer area. So what you would constitute probably merchant nobility. And it's open this time of night. It's open right up to the main door that you can go up and knock.
Guess Lucan will go up and knock.
It's answered by your second knock. Answered by what you would assume to be some sort of servant. Decently dressed finery, but certainly not something he purchased himself, almost a uniform of sorts. And he says, "Good evening, you must be here to see Lord Akoshi," which you would, of course, know as the prince's name.
Yes, he had invited me and his brothers for dinner with him tonight.
Ah, good. It's always good to have guests for dinner. Come right in. We'll get you settled, and I will announce you. Who shall I say is calling this evening?
Lucan.
Naomi. She'll say from like down, but she's short.
This is the idea.
Well, I mean, she is a kid, so.
So out of character, for some reason, I don't know if you guys watch Bleach, but I just get this image of Kenpachi.
Oh, and then it's Lieutenant?
Yeah. I don't know why that's what comes to mind, but very well. He leads you in. There's a sitting area at the foyer. Someone comes up to take your cloaks if you desire. And then he leads you kind of down a main hall to a larger dining area, but rather than a traditional central long table, it's set with numerous round tables, more like a ballroom type setting. At the door, he will tap a sort of a cane on the stone floor. And he said, very officially, he says, "Lord Akorsi, I am pleased to announce a Mr. Lucan and a Miss Naomi for the evening. Guests for dinner." And you see the prince, he's actually kind of moving among the round tables. There's people seated at a couple of the round tables that he's moving between. And he comes up to greet you personally. So, a pleasure to have you both. I assume hopefully your compatriots will join us soon. Come. I have a couple of fine vintages.
Thank you for
Anything in particular that you prefer?
whatever you would suggest.
Well, if you have a taste for the exotic, I have one from the desert lands to the south. A couple from the far northern islands. A little bit of spice to them, but a little bit more earthiness too. I haven't quite decided yet if it's unpleasant or not, but it's definitely unique. We have, of course, your traditional Italian choices. By the way, if the other two of you show up at any time, let me know and the butler can introduce you. He says, I have one from, of course, traditional, the Italian virgin woman. I have another from a Italian dissenting priest. Leave it to the church to start squabbles with themselves. It's not enough that they squabble with others.
If the prince is watching Lucan like closely at all, he looks kind of a little off-put by it. She's still not quite used to the whole "hey, you're a vampire" thing. So he's just kind of like, I'm not used to I'm not quite used to discussing this yet.
Not one of the blue bloods, then, I imagine. Because, of course, that's one of the first things they instill is the quality of the drink. That and their own righteousness. Well, no matter. I can, here, perhaps, we can ease your conscience, as it were. We all recognize what we are here, but that doesn't mean we can't have a little class about it. And he leads you up to kind of a longer banquet table set against one wall, and you can see that it's, there's actually like crystal decanters with the blood in it. And he takes like a goblet for you, and he says, "Here, start with this one. It's more neutral, as it were, more palatable, traditional Italian, but nothing real outstanding. A butcher, in fact, I think he was. A man who knows his way around blood."
Lucan will nod and take the goblet, take a drink from it.
And you will gain a blood point.
Back up to full.
It's a traditional, it's a human blood.
Okay.
Anytime that's okay for me to show up, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And you guys will be invited in fairly quickly. Once again, the butler, for lack of a better word, will lead you in and announce you. He'll say, "By what name can I introduce the two of you?"
Catherine.
Marta Vaduva.
Oh, a foreign name, I see. I will do my best. You'll forgive me. I don't get many. That sounds Eastern, I would imagine.
Indeed.
And he leads you both in, and Lord Corsi, I am pleased to announce as well your subsequent guests, Marta and Catherine. Then he goes over, he converses briefly with the prince, and you hear him leave and tell one of the housecarls to close up the gates, that there's no one else is to be permitted in until the evening is concluded. At one of the tables, you would notice the Greek gentleman who is responsible for retrieving the parcel the night before. You would also see there is one red-headed woman, clearly Italian, as well as the merchant woman who had been running the courtyard the night before. Excuse me. And a Italian man who looks like he maybe isn't a priest, but used to be. He's dressed in the appropriate garb. And the prince will again ask the two of you if you have dined or if he can get you anything. You notice he makes a point to always serve everybody himself.
I hope it not rude, but I have already dined tonight. I like to keep my skills in practice, as it were.
Understandable. I don't want to impose on anyone or assume.
Yeah,
But I also wish to make sure I provide for all of my guests.
she has Lucan to help her get a goblet. She's not quite sure if she can reach one.
Yeah, Lucan will hand gauntlet down to her.
Okay.
Actually, Lucan has common sense. Since the prince seems to be serving everybody himself, would that be a faux pas or not?
No, because it's a courtesy.
Okay.
It's an accommodation, so you're within reasonable grounds, so to speak.
Okay.
Marta is going to greet Aranya before anything else.
Okay. And she's rather polite. Could make it. That's how you've found the city so far.
Not an odd place.
Well, we like to keep it interesting.
Yes. I have not found my place here quite yet.
Well, it is a different experience.
Indeed. I am more used to Eastern ways.
Well, understandable. There's a little more of a structure. We have a little bit more populated of a region, but at the same time more diverse as well.
She nods.
Well, if there's anything specific you're looking for, let me know. I tend to find things.
Interesting. Might have already found it. But if I can think of anything else, I appreciate the offer.
Very good. Well, I wouldn't want us to keep our host waiting too long.
No, of
I
course
would
not.
imagine he wishes to speak to the newcomers, but feel free to locate me again.
I will do
There's
that.
always business to
And
be
thank
done
you
in
again.
this city. The prince will kind of be making the rounds as well. He appears to be kind of touching base with some of the other people before he circles back to you guys. We'll fairly quickly come back to everybody and see how you're finding the evening.
Is Marcus here by chance?
He would be. He's not sitting at one of the tables, but he does. You do see him kind of walk through briefly.
I'm gonna walk up to him.
Naomi doesn't know what to do, so she's gonna follow you.
Good evening.
Good to see you found your way here.
And it wasn't terribly difficult finding the place.
Well, I more meant that you survived the excitement and were able to attend.
Oh yes, that was. It wasn't as difficult as I was thinking. Going.
What are we talking about?
last night.
You're being more vague about it as if everybody's gonna automatically know what you're talking about.
The flesh character.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
I was given to understand that you were involved in the recovery of some of the prince's assets.
Yes. I was also able to gain some relics from the battles over in the east. Back for the
Ah, that's good to be aware of as well. Yes, there's some strange messes going on over there. I'm not entirely sure how to take all of it, but anything we can recover for the church is, of course, beneficial.
Lucan will nod. Say,
Just so it's made moment, Catherine might be being quiet, but she's listening to everything around her. It's what she does.
it definitely seems they practice strange ways over there, but the Lord will guide us through it. Sure.
Indeed. And while it's beneficial to, of course, earn the favor of the prince returning his assets, we must also walk a delicate line that we do not empower him too much that we lose our own footing.
You'll have to forgive me. I'm not. I'm still not quite. Shit. I know how I would put this, but I don't know how 1200's man would put this. This is the hardest part of playing Dark Ages.
He does not feel tied at home with the dead yet.
Just that. The politicking, the feuds.
Yes, well, unfortunately, that seems to be the way of our kind. It's a battlefield all its own. I prefer to negotiate it a little more directly. But once again, even managing assets between is a balancing act.
I'll continue playing nice for now.
That's our best bet at this point. There are also those who play the game better than I.
Any of them on our side?
Well, given your young travel companion there, you would imagine she would, of course, know Father Julian, who's part of the church. He coordinates a lot of the other side. helps keep the church properly leveraged. But the other one, the one people don't tend to watch much, is any kind of gestures. And he says, would be Sir Gabriel over there. He was a crusader before his embrace. And he comes from a land where wealth, politics, and the church all intertwine. Furthermore, there's a lot of question as to what blood he hails from. We all know he's kindred, but he's very good at deception.
Have you tried asking? There's
There's a couple who have asked. It's said that the prince knows, but that's it.
From what I can tell, the prince seems him mostly honorable man. I'm sure if Gabriel asked him not to reveal his blood, then he won't do so easily.
Well, I imagine he would have his own reasons.
So, what do you know of the sorcerer?
I didn't catch that out of character.
She was asking about the sorcerer.
Well, it seems I know less and less every day. I'm afraid I spend too much time in my books lately. I'm going to need a perception subterfuge from Catherine, if she's eavesdropping. And that'll also be about, that'll be about the point where the prince will kind of come around and invite you guys, ask you guys if you would join him privately.
Let's get these dice open better than they did last time. If dice is open. Oh, good. They do like me a bit better than last time.
And I have to go let a cat out from the other room because she sounds unhappy, so I'll be right back.
Unhappy cat.
We have to feed them in separate rooms because 3 of the 4 of them are fatty lumpkins. So my cat gets locked in a separate room. So her food doesn't get stolen.
That's fair.
She was done and displeased. She needs her freedom.
All right. I'm back.
Do we want to see?
Yeah. She was yowling.
That mad, huh?
Well, just sitting on the bed and notifying me she was done.
And you noticed. Well, I managed to do a heck of a lot better than my last rolls, than the rolls I made last time.
All right. The Greek man that you were introduced to as the sheriff is conversing with the Spaniard. He says something about something not adding up. Bad merchants and fixed goods.
Okay.
You also hear Arunia, which is the woman who is running the courtyard, talking to the red-haired woman. And they appear to be discussing trade routes. And the goods that come and go along them.
Okay, who is this now?
What's that?
Some of that. I missed some of what you just said. Specifically,
Okay,
just.
The trade goods and which routes tend to carry which goods, which routes are best used, that sort of thing. And that's between Arunia, the merchant that was running the courtyard last night, and a red-haired woman that you're not familiar with.
Okay.
About that point, the prince kind of, one by one will gather the four of you up and tell you would like to speak privately, as it were. And he kind of gestures to a smaller sitting room off the side of the banquet room.
Gladly, and I'll follow.
Oh yeah.
Once all four of you are in the room, he shuts the door. And he says, I appreciate all of you joining me tonight. And as a man of business, I thought it more reasonable to discuss with you one-on-one, or rather one-on-four, as it were, rather than out in the open. First and foremost, to establish what your intentions and business is within the city. Some of you I know are established, some of you are newer. And additionally, to perhaps establish some business relationship.
Maybe we just so I just keep the dad at the church. That's it.
Well, I suppose the church is a valuable ally to us. I'm glad to see that they're getting some aid in that. Certainly, Father Julian can't do everything, and especially with Francis's departure, the church itself has had a ever-widening reach, with us having a slimming grasp.
I myself am a Templar of the church.
Ah, yes, the Templar, always a useful and potent group. The one branch of the church we seem to be able to maintain a strong hold on. Probably because of fledglings such as yourself.
I'm sorry. Am I hearing a penny flute?
What's
The
that?
fuck?
What?
I'm hearing like. Remember that one time you and Joseph hung out outside my window and he was playing the penny flute?
I mean, yes, but
I'm hearing
You need to
your flute.
look into your flute situation.
I mean, apparently, should actually get a penny flute. They sound so terrible. I can piss off so many people.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
flute.
I distracted the. But I swear I'm not crazy. I hear a flute going on. And
Don't hear anything.
what's he doing? It's not going on anymore. Sorry, guys.
So, John, was that fledgling such as yourself? Is that what you said? Because I think you got cut off.
Yes.
Okay.
He was commenting that it's sometimes difficult to maintain a hold on the church, but that they've had more success maintaining a hold on the Templar order.
Is this a church dude talk?
No, this is the prince.
Oh. Is he just like being salty towards the church? Like nonstop thus far? Because if he is, that's completely wonderful.
Well, his primary point was just that they don't have many people within the church itself, but they have a lot of people within the militant church.
Yeah, Kim's OOC is not very good at the doublespeak.
That's why I was embraced. That's what Marcus told me, at least. Damn myself so I can save others.
It's always a challenge, but a noble goal.
Wouldn't Naomi be told why she was embraced?
I imagine, yeah, Julian probably were at least told her to some degree.
The father said that I was too valuable to the church to be given away.
That's not uncommon. Generally, the most common reason for embrace is a value to a sire, though that value differs depending on the individual.
That is certainly true.
He'll turn to Marta and say, and from your accent, I would gather you are from the east. I'm curious, what brings you over to our fine merchant city?
For a moment. Well, the strife back east drove me out, as did the death of my sire. And I found myself traveling and ended up here. It seems as good a place as any to put down roots, though it still confounds me, the and the city are somewhat overwhelming. But simply wish a place to exist.
Did we lose Josie?
Oh? Did you not hear me?
So,
Now I hear you.
yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay.
Last I heard was something about wish a place, and that's where we lost you.
Oh, simply wish a place to exist. And I think that's where I left off, actually.
Well, we are a place where one can do more than exist, but grow as well. So I'm sure you will find a role, and we can proceed from there. I'm sure your insights into some of the other cultures will be of aid to us as well.
I certainly hope so.
Then, kind of lastly, he'll turn to Catherine and I gather you are originally from our fair city,
I am indeed.
or at least for some
Not
time.
from, but I have established myself here. An established business of a more carnal nature.
Did she say
Yeah, she-
carnal literature? Like,
Carnal
okay.
nature.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I thought she said literature.
I don't worry, we don't. Full 100 being as everyone.
That's
Yeah.
only
That's a polite way of saying I run a brothel.
okay. This is going to be terrible because I love you guys. This is good roleplay. Naomi's gonna look up at her and say, "What does carnal mean?"
She just drops it and she just looks right at Kim's character and says, I run a brothel. She puts it very bluntly.
A giggle.
Lucan has currently just gone poker faced. He's staring pointedly ahead of him, not trying to look anybody at anyone in the room.
I've never been to a brothel before. What is that?
The
You are
pointed
too
look
young for
gets more intense.
She says, it's a place where men pay women for sex. She's just very blatant about it. She doesn't even care that it's as close as she's going to get for this. And you can tell she's trying to be polite about it initially, but there's no way around it now.
But Prince will
The
kind of
innocent
interject and,
question.
that it's also a necessary component to trade. Though some factions
Yes.
find it more distasteful.
That's a good way to gather information.
She's gonna lean over and whisper to Lucan.
She's really like, oh, gross. I need to go pray just for hearing those words. Gross.
Like, she doesn't know what sex is. Like, she just said that to Lucan.
Marta turns to Catherine and says, I imagine it quite there.
Imagine what? I couldn't.
Number of loose lips there.
You give someone enough to drink, and yes.
If I was playing anybody but a Templar Knight, I'd have a lot of jokes for that statement.
Sorry, Tiger.
It's okay.
Well, it seems to me that we have the city can provide opportunities for all of you, certainly.
Can provide opportunities for what?
For all four of you to find success. However, what seems equally important to me is that there are opportunities here for all of your skills to work together, as it were, potentially. You are all very reasonable about returning my delivery the other night. Many wouldn't have had the forethought to go for a capture. Too many are too quick to simply jump to the immediate kill, with no thought to the repercussions. As you can imagine, that would have been a less desirable result for me.
The child as well. He would have been ostracized as a being with you.
Yes, I understood you were also able to return the child to normal. This is good on a number of levels. One, it helps protect what we are. We live in a time where, as some of you know all too well, factions of the church are aware of our existence. This can be a boon, can also be a drawback. There are times where we can organize these factions against our enemies, but equally so, they can be organized against us. More terrifyingly, they can organize themselves against us should they find out we exist. Like it or not, we have to live within the shadows to some degree. It's the nature of who we are and what we are. So, you have done me 2 services already. These both indicate to me that you are capable and that you think before you act, which is something that unfortunately tends to slide, especially with older kindred.
Are you talking about him?
Sometimes, unfortunately, I'm not too proud to admit that. There are times where I've acted in haste, and in doing so have jeopardized things that could have been beneficial. Or where I act out of arrogance, and that in turn jeopardizes that being said, I find myself in a situation where I feel I may have put myself in a bad position. The individual you returned to me, I purchased under my own name. Doing so, I also felt that, perhaps my name would hold enough weight. I fear I was mistaken because, as you well know, something went wrong. One way or another, somehow, he was free. I do not think there's chance. I do not think that he was faking it when he was staked. No, I'm concerned that he was released once he got closer. So, my question then becomes, who would release him and why? Someone who's obviously not friendly to me, as it were. Couple this with the fact that he came in on one of the only overland trade routes I have that has not been attacked recently. And I must question whether someone is actively working to undermine my authority. Given your collective skills, it seems this might be something I could have you look into. And as you are all young and newer to being kindred, the follow-up portion to that will be discovering just how much you know about what it means to be a kindred in these nights. I think the best assessment of that will be for you to report to me on those kindred you meet, whether they're known to me or not, and give me your opinion of them. Are they beneficial to the city? Do they understand what it means to be kindred? Through your assessment of others, I will gain a better understanding of who you are and how you all think. In the meantime, this will also aid us in assessing the stability of our city and resolving some ongoing issues that are both personal to me but also impact the stability of my rule.
Naomi will gesture for attention, whatever that would be.
She
Yeah,
jumps up and down, waving her hand.
I have no idea.
Well, I imagine, given the time period, it's probably unusual for a 12-year-old to be speaking, but given her unique situation. So I imagine it's something just to the effect of, kind of puts her hand up and steps forward.
Okay. She'll wait for permission, I guess.
He'll give her a nod fairly quickly.
What do those questions mean to you? What does it mean to be kindred to you?
He chuckles a little bit and he says, I did not anticipate that response, but I suppose I did say every kindred.
And she'll nod with a very serious look on her face, which I can't manage right now because this is going to be so much fun. Going to get us in so much trouble.
I would caution you with other kindred to maybe not be quite so direct. Some may accept it as you are fledglings, but others may take it the wrong way. However, I think part of being kindred is accepting that we are neither living nor dead, but something in between, which means we have a responsibility to both. Mortals may be our food, but it's not that simple. These are not cattle for us to feed on. These are functioning individuals that, while they may not be our equal because they cannot live as long, they do not possess the same abilities we do. They possess other abilities we do not have. Something as simple as walking in the daylight, lighting a torch, eat regular food and drink. Those are things that we have lost, that they still possess, that separate us, but do not necessarily elevate us or them. To be kindred, I think, is to recognize that we were once human, but that we are no longer entirely human. That we have responsibility to humanity as not only our food source, but also as the origins of where we came from. To be respectful. Do we feed on them? Yes. Can we do so tastefully? Absolutely. We're not out to abuse or misuse humanity. And we also must respect their power. There are far more of them than there are us, and at the end of the night, they are more dangerous to us than we are to them on a whole. Because for every dozen humans we can kill with the gifts we are given, there are hundreds more that are perfectly capable of burning us down. So I think the short answer of what it means to be a kindred to me is to respect humanity, to respect that we are not human, and to also respect the dead, for we are partially there. Though we have not been buried in the ground, just like those who have passed, we lie as nothing more than an inert corpse for half of every passing cycle. I think that once we forget to respect both humanity and the dead, we become a danger to both sides and to ourselves.
Yes, the dead do not like being disrespected very much. So, say like,
I can't speak for those who have passed, but I know that should I wake up some evening and find myself stripped down and out in public, covered in pink flowers and dressed like a ballerina, I would be displeased with that.
interesting
So as
fact.
I
Sorry to interrupt, but I learned this in ballet class. Ballet was originally a form of dance so women could sell their bodies to men because they were prostitutes. If that
I'm
wasn't
not
awful.
surprised. I'm not surprised. Just as hunger drives us, so too do the drives of men tend to drive the mortal society and even our own. Those lusts are not always lost at the embrace. Sometimes, in fact, they aren't even diminished. There are those who take their human passions to unseen levels once they have become something more than human.
And Naomi just looks like she has no idea what you're talking about when you're talking about passions and all that crap.
May I point something out about humanity?
He's just trying to turn and look at you and motion for you to proceed.
Not only do they far outnumber us, but they seem to be able to organize much better than us.
It's true. Partially, I think, because their fears are a bit more rationalized. It's easy to organize against your fear when your fear is the monster in the night. It's a lot harder to organize your fear against a fear when you are the monster in the night.
Maybe if we could find a place that was away from the prying eyes of humans. Somewhere in the middle of everything. She's looking like she's thinking really hard.
How would we live?
No, like she didn't say no human. She said away from the eyes of humans.
There are some among our kind that choose to separate themselves further in their society, setting up enclaves in the wilderness. However, there's dangers to the wilderness too.
Oh,
Well, as I can tell you from my experience with my trade routes, there are things such as the werewolves, and this time even some of those creatures of legend that haven't quite passed on to legend. Additionally, of course, there are those mortals who possess powers beyond typical humanity.
interesting.
John sent you a PM.
I see it. So I'm curious to see what it all you come up with. But I must say that my primary goal is to identify what or who might have tampered with my delivery, who might be harassing my trade routes. And again, I don't know if these are one and the same or not. And what my best option is. Certainly identifying the best of the kindred is important, but
You are a man of business, no?
Generally,
Is it possible that rivals in that realm might be interfering?
well, the majority of the rest of my business has been fairly neutral. I work with the biggest other traders in the area. I at least have some sort of regional or reasonable agreement, whether that's a non-interference policy. I don't really see any reason for them to violate it, given it benefits them as much as me, and should I find out, they would have more to lose.
So greed is not a factor to motivate them.
Well, I mean, I don't. They certainly trade outside the city, but those within the city do not have a advantage to doing so.
I wonder if they're dead now. Is there
They did.
anybody that brought Bessie dead with them when they were kept? She's asking if one of the caravans that were kept brought back any dead bodies.
I don't think any were returned. Most of the time, the caravan just went missing.
The sorcerer had allies, such as servant that might have assisted him.
Well, that's certainly possible. Again, these are all questions we certainly need to find answers for in order to resolve.
Would it be possible for us to ask him questions? The sorcerer, that is.
I would have to have you wait a couple evenings. I want to make sure he's properly restrained, as it were.
Understood. Hmm.
If you have all claimed any sanctums of your own and you wish to notify me, I can ensure that you are not disturbed.
I think my character would live at the church, so we'll see.
Right, which is already a protected sanctum because of Julian.
My accommodations are provided for by
What is this?
Well, that as well, too, if your shelters have all been are all shared, then they're already registered. That's certainly beneficial. Saves us the hassle of some paperwork.
since you say that it's registered, would it be possible for you to provide us with a list of the kindred within the city?
I can certainly have one of my staff put one together, at least of those we have registered.
That would be quite beneficial.
It may take a day to draw up that kind of paperwork, so you'll have to. I can either have it sent over to you tomorrow, or you can stop by and pick it up.
Thirst.
I see too. Do not trust the church. We can meet here.
Perfect. We can all meet here.
Excellent. I will let someone know to expect you and make sure that documentation is ready. If anything else I can get you this evening?
Do you have anything at all from the missing caravans?
I will have one of my staff members check our inventory, see if we were able to recover anything. It is possible, although I don't know to what degree. I do seem to recall we may have recovered some items, or rather, someone else recovered them, and I was forced to buy my own goods back. Funny how that works out.
Who did you have to buy them back from?
A trader from Florence who came upon them, and as he located them and could demonstrate that he had not been the one to attack in the first place, he reasonable claim as the recoverer.
That sounds frustrating.
Yeah, she was less than pleasant. But if there's nothing further, I should get back to the rest of my guests, at least to say goodbye.
Fair
It
enough.
has been a pleasure doing business thus far, and I suspect it will continue to be so. And he'll make sure to kind of formally, the kiss on the cheek for everybody, that sort of thing. And then he heads back out to the... Sorry, go ahead.
She would ask that God would bless the prince. Did you catch that?
I did not, sorry.
Nomi would ask that God would bless the prince and
Okay.
whatnot, drunken stuff.
Alrighty, so the prince kind of goes and says his goodbyes to the other folks in the room, and they kind of head out for the rest of the night. And then he converse with a couple of his staff members, and they head off for the night as well, to presumably to handle business as well as look into those things you requested. The butler would escort you guys back to the door, of course, not just leave you standing in the room.
Alrighty.
And is there anything else you guys want to accomplish tonight yet before you turn in for the day?
Nomi would listen for any whispers among the dead that could be relevant.
Okay.
On my flaw.
Your flaw. I don't know if I have your sheet in my stack for some reason. I do not.
Need to resend it to you?
Yeah, if you could. I think I downloaded it on my phone.
Oh, okay. Hold on a moment. That is the one that would be relevant right now.
Merit medium.
Yeah, well, I know how to read.
Which one are you thinking might be relevant?
Haunted.
Sorry, I think. Oh. Not necessarily. In here, your ghost would be relatively quiet. So Naomi might pick up a little bit on him, but
Okay.
So does she hear anything from the church?
as far as
Attacks on the like caravans or anything? It was just
theirs have not been attacked. It appears to only be merchant caravans, and they did not have any remains brought to them. No.
okay.
All right, everybody, good for the evening.
Yeah.
All right, then we will assume you guys return to your havens for the day, and we will rejoin tomorrow evening. So this has been another Genova by Night, 1245 Dark Ages edition. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night.